Hey everybody, how are you doing today? It is Tuesday and it is freezing where I'm at. I hope you're warm wherever you're at. And I had some thoughts that I'd like to share with you. Um, it's January, and January for me is, well, it can sometimes be a little bit rough. Um, it's a month where I as a kid, I lost my father. So I always think about that, and it's been a very long time now, but um, it got me thinking about words of wisdom that I've picked up through the years. Some good and some not so good, but I don't know. It's just things that I thought might be fun to share and something you might enjoy listening to. Um, and this is not just from my father, but it's from other people too. And I just thought I'd run through a few and I don't know, just share a little bit of me. Um, my brothers. I don't know so much that I have words of wisdom or even intelligent actions to share of theirs, but I suppose the thing that I did learn from them is what not to do. I think that in doing the polar opposite of what they would normally do, I turned out fair. Probably even in the all right department. Um, but one word of wisdom, or actually a phrase of wisdom that I got, well, quite a few little tidbits here and there, but one of the ones that sticks out in my head most was from a high school coach that I had. Um, he was quite the fountain of knowledge, and he wasn't afraid to share it with us boys. Um, we were at an award banquet, and I remember, your teenage boys, and the it was really actually very funny because the girls were all dressed up very nice, and we're teenage boys, we're still scrubs. It's what we were. We just didn't matter to us all that much, and so what was funny about it was he saw us and he's like, "Boys, something you got to realize: breasts are an awful lot like the sun. You can look, but don't stare." And that's something that I found to be really funny that I've just kind of held on to in my life, and it's something I told to my kids too, and it's funny, but at the same time, it's true. You shouldn't be disrespectful and stare at people. Um, I don't know. Uh, there's other things that I've learned that touch your life even deeper and on a more serious note because my father always instilled in us the idea that nobody is better than anybody. It doesn't matter, if you could be more skilled than somebody, you can have more experience than somebody, you can even be wealthier than somebody, but that doesn't make you better than anybody. You know, we are all the same. This skin, it doesn't mean anything. We were raised that it didn't mean anything. And I look back now and think, how correct that should be. That everybody should be raised like that. And I think it's crazy that I grew up out in in the sticks. We were a rural community, and you would think that in a lot of senses it would be polar opposite. But I think I have a lot of pride that my father raised us right. You know, he raised us knowing that he shaped us. I feel to be better people in the future. And that's what being a responsible parent is like. And that's what I've tried very hard to do. And that's a really good lesson that I've learned from him. And I've also, of course, picked up uh, a whole lot of things from him that I enjoy. Like I love fishing. I love the outdoors. I love hunting. Uh, when he was gone, of course, there was a void. But you you take it up in your heart, and you just it stays there and it fills you. Um, and when I met my fiance and later my wife, um, her father was just like my dad. He both our fathers were in the Navy, so they had similar um, similar antidotes to things, and I remember he was just a tough guy, and I think that he would actually have been probably the the man that my dad would have eventually aged into had he not passed. Um, there are a few uh, instances for a while there. There was uh, a peanut butter scare that he there was salmonella in the peanut butter, and I think it was I don't remember what peanut butter company it was. It was a major manufacturer, and they were recalling all the peanut butter, and they were saying don't eat it. You'll get salmonella. You could die. And so of course we went through our pantries and made sure. And at the time he was living with us, and he had a jar, and he was very angry with me for taking his jar of peanut butter. And I tried to explain it to him. I said, "You'll die if you eat this peanut butter." And he looked me straight in the eye and says, "I've already eaten half of it. What's the point now? I haven't died yet." And uh, it's difficult to argue with that. But I traded him a new jar of peanut butter for it. But that was the only way he was giving it up. It's just it's it's a tougher group then, I guess. I mean, he broke his arm one time in three places. He looked at me and said, "It's okay. I took a couple Advil. I'll be fine." I can't imagine. I would be screaming for morphine or something if I had broken my. He had 13 screws in his arm. 13. It Yeah, and plates. Still got the X-rays somewhere. It was crazy, but it's okay. He took Advil. He's fine. He was just a tougher breed. It's so, and I take things from him uh, because he would say things, and it didn't matter to him because he would just say what he thought, and he would do what he wanted regardless of what anybody thought. And I think that that's probably one of life's biggest lessons. Do what you want. Man, I'm not saying be rude, but do what you want and don't worry about what other people think. Because ultimately, it doesn't matter what other people think. They're not, I mean, with the exception of your job and your boss and that sort of thing, but Don't worry about what other people think about you. Just do you. Make you happy. Because if you're not happy, you can't exist. You can't continue. If you're not happy in life, then nothing is going to work for you. And I think that that was the deal. He knew how to be happy because it just, he's seen so much. And in the grand scheme of things, maybe it didn't matter anymore. He figured he was just, he was him and that was it. In a lot of cases, I feel that's exactly right. You're you, I'm me, and that's it. Do what makes you happy. And when you do what makes you happy, you're a better person. You're a better person for yourself and those around you. And I think maybe that's one of the biggest lessons I've tried to learn. It's difficult. And it's one that sometimes you have to keep teaching yourself. Be like, do I really care what they think? Because sometimes you do. We all do. But you need to remind yourself that it doesn't matter what they think. Well, I hope that maybe I put a thought or two in your head that might be positive. Because I sure have enjoyed you listening. And I would have appreciated if you'd hit like or subscribe, or maybe if you didn't like it, leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Or if you did like it, leave a good comment. It'd be nice too. But bottom line is, I appreciate you and thank you and hope to see you again. You have a good night, and I'll see you later.